creative, helpful AI for copying. Before we begin though, just a little bit about myself. My name is Nithilan Sendhil. I'm a senior here at Grandview. I like to call myself a robotics enthusiast. I've done chess club and TSA in the past. I like helping people in my own way, as you will soon see. And for college, I'm going to CU Boulder, or a mechanical major, and most likely also an electrical major. For my project overview, as an inspiration, I'm sure many of you have a fear of public speaking. You don't like getting up here and talking in front of a crowd. I wanted to remedy that, but not at our age, because teaching old people new tricks is not a good idea. Rather, I'd like to solve it at a young age. I'd like to solve the social anxiety that could develop then, speech impediments that then, or just introvertism. According to the University of Florida, practically 75% of the entire world's population doesn't want to get up and speak their mind. So, I wanted to teach kids to speak. Unfortunately, there's already a chatbot that does that, apparently. I didn't know that. It's called the Miko 3. Unfortunately, it doesn't work very well, in my opinion. But my ideal chatbot that could help a child speak would be something they could hold, something that could comfort them, answer their questions, talk to them, and generally just be their friend. Yes, this is a better Furby. Before we just continue, it's a better Furby. It's going to be a better looking one, better conversationalist, and hopefully it's not going to be a demonic entity. I set a few goals myself. I wanted to learn about all kinds of AI. I wanted to learn about chatbots in general because AI is most likely the future. I want to see how AIs could respond to different learning, different data, different training. I wanted to see all of that. I wanted to learn how to put others at ease. I'm not exactly the most kind person, but maybe I could get a robot to help me with that. I wanted to learn coding on a level that is not taught here at Grandview. In my opinion, the coding classes here are fine as beginner, but when you go out into the real world or just in college in general, coding learned from here is not going to help you. That's my opinion and also my brother's opinion, who got a 5 on both of his AP tests here. I wanted to gain a greater understanding of 3D printing and 3D design. I wanted to learn how to do SolidWorks and maybe other 3D softwares. I wanted to learn about how to print something, maybe not make a baseball out of the 3D nozzle. And I just wanted to get better at speaking in front of people. This project is as much for me as it is for you guys. But I think I'm doing good. I had a team of advisors. I had dad and my mom, both are financial advisors. They supplied me with money, and that's pretty much all I asked for them. My brother here, he did this project before, 4 years ago. It can still be found on YouTube. He's also my dog advisor, as in I'd go and ask him a question, and he'd be like, it's this, duh, and piss me off. Jack Post, he's not here right now, but ChatGPT called him my creative problem solver. I'm calling him my coding intern, unpaid of course, but as my expert advisor, I have Bashar Kotikian. He has a master's in robotics. His expertise spans control systems, robot navigation, and state estimation techniques. He's currently in Georgia, I believe, doing his 6-figure job. So he's well off for himself and really helping with this project, telling me when I'm doing something stupid and when I'm doing something great. I have a timeline that I sort of follow. In October, I would just research how to make an AI chatbot, and just along with the best components, the electrical ones that could bring my vision to life. November would just be nothing but coding. I just make the code for a chatbot. I just make the commands that would help me around it. For December, I trained the chatbot. I would gather data sets. I would gather just everything I needed to make sure it's child-friendly and not like the Google AIs, if you've been following that. January would be designing. I would actually make the physical model and print it out, along with ordering all electronic parts. February and March would both be incorporation. I would put the AI inside the toy. I put the electrical components. I make sure it can talk. I can make sure it can listen. In April, I called buffer time. I gave myself a few weeks to as buffer time if I messed up, because I know I can mess up. I know I will mess up because I'm just like that, and I know myself. We start off in the coding portion. just to make your own AI, you have to make your own code, you have to make your own data sets, and you also have to do your own training. A data set, for everyone who hasn't done AI project in this class, is basically just a compilation of stuff. It could be a compilation of scroll pictures, it could be a compilation of different conversations like I'm using here. It could be a compilation of just pictures of people. It could be a compilation of anything. That's just what a data set is. This here, this Hugging Faces blended skill talk data set, is thousands upon thousands of conversations that you could throw into an AI. Training is this image right here. You're force-feeding your AI data sets. And you're telling it to learn from it, memorize it, and just, all in all, just be better. After hours of typing away like a CS major, which hopefully I'm not going to be, I had this code. This code is the skeleton code for my chatbot. Basically, all it does is it'll take in a data set, it'll run it through itself a bunch of times, it'll just learn from it, and hopefully it'll actually spit out a conversational AI that could, when asked a question, would think for a second and respond with maybe just a tiny little hint of humanity, basically. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. The first time I made the AI and sent it to training and got after 11 hours, it turned Mexican. I'm not sure what happened there. I came back on a Saturday morning, I opened the AI and it just said, "Hi, I am Mexican." I wasn't sure how to respond to that. But after I talked with it just a bit, putting in like, hello, what, or what do you mean? All it responded with was just a jumbled words, basically. Just random capitalization here, just like sentences just broken here. So I'm like, is something wrong with my code or is something wrong with the data set? I decided that I can't do any wrong, so it must be the data set. And I sent it back for another round of training with a data set called Diallo GPT, I believe. This didn't turn out much better. In fact, it went wrong. This is what it responded with for the entirety after that 13-hour training session I had with the data set. You are not the boss. I asked who this Tom is. It said, "You are Tom." Oh. So I got scared of my own AI. It's still on my computer, so you might want to check your phone, so you might be on there. But basically, I gave up on the coding portion. Instead, decided to go to pre-built APIs. Basically, an API is just a key. Say you have a really, really big project somewhere on a server, like a really large server that takes up a lot of memory, a lot of gigs. Well, you're not someone who wants to borrow it doesn't exactly need to bring the entire server into their room and just use that. No, what they would use is instead they have an API, something like this, or something like this. They just bring the key into their coding project. The code would read it, send a signal out to the server would give back what it needs, and that's everything. Did you know that ChatGPT has an API? And ChatGPT is a very excellent conversation model. This is a segment of the API, not the full thing. So don't take a picture of it. If you do take a picture of it and you manage to guess the other 400 characters that come after that, I'm losing that API and I have to buy a new one. So please do not take a picture of it, George. Already done. Okay, so with the help of OpenAPI and its OpenAI API, I made this. This is basically just calling upon GPT for a mini, which is what you get after you ask ChatGPT 20 questions and it says, "Hey, I want to do a lower language model." This guy, with 1,000 max tokens, will just spit out a response that's more or less conversational. I fine-tuned it a bit as well. And basically, with just that, I have my API model. Some of you may call me cheating, but do you want a pre-built car or do you want a car made of entirely scrap parts? That's my idea. Now, I need to make it take in a microphone input, I shove it into Google Translate, and I say, speak back to me, and it does exactly that, with a less than human voice and a very annoying one. And as for the microphone and speaker use, your own computer can be used on Python. All you have to do is just say os.system, and it just works. I spent way too long trying to figure that out. But I did want a newer voice model after about 4 months. I did not want to use Google Translate's voice, that's not human. So rather, I went to Microsoft Edge's neural voice. They have hundreds, that is just their English section. They have hundreds of different languages that you can make an AI model for. You can make it French, Mandarin, MLE, you can do anything with it. And in this example, I made it Indian, or an English with an Indian accent, which is hilarious in my opinion, and just saved it as an MP3 file to play through the AI. That basically just concludes my coding portion. My AI was not that difficult because I cheated with ChatGPT, but I then went to mechanical. I wanted to design that toy. I wanted to design something they could hold. I did a slight bit of research into shape theory. Did you know that sharp edges aren't exactly relaxing? No one wants to hold a spike ball. People want to hold a regular ball. I don't know why the neuroscientists at the Brain Institute of Johns Hopkins needed to figure that out through a study and an art program using this, but what are you going to do? They just basically asked a bunch of people, do you want like this picture or do you like this picture? People tended to gravitate towards this picture, and so they're like, oh, soft edges, cool. Okay, I'll use that for my program. This is my original idea. That is a very bad looking prototype that I made in Onshape. I don't like Onshape. I did not have access to SolidWorks at the moment, but I just designed this to be a safe model for a child that could hold in their hands. And then I realized it's a pretty stupid looking prototype, and so moved to SolidWorks to design what I like to call the egg. I don't know why I like to call it the egg, but I like eggs. Now I needed to go into the electronics portion of this, and I definitely had fun with that. I bought Arduino compatible microphones, speakers, a digital to analog converter here, and an ESP32. This is a wiring diagram that I was trying following while soldering the DAC to the ESP32. Fun fact, DACs have problems, or just maybe problems with me. But first off, the Arduino and the computer would not connect for their life. I don't know what was wrong. I just had this, except imagine that as empty. When I connected the Arduino to my computer, it just would not connect. And I was about to throw it out the window. Whoa, soldering problems. When trying to solder the DAC to pins, I would get lead fumes in my face. I didn't like that. I didn't feel good about breathing in lead. Also, it took so much time. In one class period, I only got the DAC soldered to its pins. One single one. And then when I tried running a signal through it from the Arduino to the DAC, I was trying to make a sine wave sound. What I instead got was a high-pitched whine that you would expect from a dog. So that was fun. And eventually, I just gave up on that portion and instead tried to make my life easier with Bluetooth. I like Bluetooth because you have just a simple microphone that you can throw in and a simple speaker that you can throw in. Just connect it to your computer and just have fun with that. And that's basically, that's the electronics. I don't know why I tried to make it so complicated for myself, but I do hate myself. Anyway, here are the iterations that I was trying to go through. We have the horrifying model, the first iteration of the egg, we have that, and then you'll notice here, this is the final product that I came up with. On top of my gut from the blue. Anyways, I in fact glued Velcro to the outside to connect the two halves together. I don't know why, but it works. It works pretty well actually. It's still staying together over if you notice, I coded what felt to give it that soft feel that a child could comfort themselves with. You'll notice that I'm in fact a mechanical engineer and know nothing about gluing felt to spherical objects. That is good because I am a mechanical engineer and I have some other grunt guy do that for me. So we'll talk about my timeline now before I show you just a small video. I did my research, I did my coding, and I did my training all in time, technically. Maybe I did kind of give up on the coding and training portion of a custom-built AI, but I did fine-tune ChatGPT, and it was pre-trained, so I can call these 3 timeline objectives pretty much good to go. Unfortunately, by January, February, March, and April, we're all screwed. January, I got sick for 2 weeks, and I almost needed to go to the hospital on that, but that was fun to experience. Basically, all I could get was just design the bare skeleton model and look at electronic components I might want to buy. February and March was still just design and hopefully incorporate all of that. April was looking like buffer time until recently when I was scrambling to finish my project and presentation. For my project objectives, I did learn about all kinds of AI. I did learn about the chat labs, so I can call that a good success. Learn how to put others at ease. Learn about coding on a level not taught in class. I definitely learned that. I definitely learned about just connecting to my computer, connecting out of my computer, connecting to Bluetooth. I learned about a lot that will absolutely help me in college, even though I hate CS. I definitely gained a great level of understanding in 3D design. I refreshed my knowledge on SolidWorks because I haven't worked on that for a bit. Fun fact, I am probably the only person in this class that hasn't had problems with SolidWorks ever. And I think I got better at speaking in front of people. I don't feel nervous. I don't have a fit like something. I feel pretty good actually. So I feel like that's accomplished. Here's the fun. Definitely not code. Physical model and AI.
Hey, I'm feeling sad. How about we talk about some planets?
Of course. Talking about planets can be a great way to lift your spirits. Do you have a specific planet in mind, or would you like to explore some interesting facts about our solar system? For example, we could talk about the stunning rings of Saturn, the red surface of Mars, or even the gas giants like Jupiter and Neptune. Let me know what you're interested in.
Any questions? George.
When you created your first model, did you make it completely from scratch, or was it fine-tuned from a development model?
I made it from scratch. I just looked at how to make one online, and I basically just started bringing in different code from different projects, and I just started slapping together stuff, hoping it works. And it worked most of the time. Until it didn't. Jail.
What would the cost comparison be for this versus something like a Google Alexa, or sorry, like a Google Home or an Alexa?
So the final project that I made would probably costed me somewhere around like $25, and the computer to run the code. Google Alexa, I believe, was somewhere around $50 to $100. So I'd say mine is definitely cheaper. It probably works a lot better, and because Alexa is probably suited for grocery lists and keeping intruders out, this guy's suited for talking to children. So I think a market price, however, I'd probably market it for $35. I do want to make a profit. Christian?
Why is the speaker inside the box? How wide is the speaker?
Oh, it's not quite at all. I cut out holes to make sure that the sound escapes. So you can actually hear it pretty well and can feel it vibrate in your arms. Visual?
Is there a chance we could get a live demo of this?
Sure. We just figure that out.
assist you today?
Tell me something interesting.
Do you know that honey never spoils? Archaeologists uncovered honey in ancient Egyptian tombs that are over 3,000 years old and still perfectly edible. Honey's long shelf life is due to its low moisture content and acidic pH, which create an inhospitable environment for bacteria and microorganisms. This makes honey not only a sweet treat, also a natural preservative.
Kevin?
So, how exactly is this project just not ChatGPT that you're using?
Thanks, Kevin. Any question? Basically, it's just for fun. What? Also, do you want to talk to ChatGPT on your computer, or would you rather have it specifically paired for a child? Because I did fine-tune it just a bit, so I can have a prompt basically already waiting, so it can only communicate as a child.
So this is just ChatGPT paired to a speaker technology?
If you want to do it like that, yes.
If you would ask it something like inappropriate, would it give a child-friendly response?
Yes, it would basically just say, I can't answer that. George?
How big was the original data set?
I think it was around 3,000 entries long. Don't remember. Jail?
Have you asked it for the bosses?
I didn't. I said hello, and it just started repeating, you are not the boss.
But then can you look, have you like tried to make sure it's not really, it's not typing this guy's?
I'm not going to ask if it's low, because if it is, I'm on a hit list now. Chelsea?
Have you considered making a more child-friendly design on the outside?
Yes. I wanted to get googly eyes, but I forgot, and it was too late then. Christian?
We tried sticking the verb and putting it on.
No. You don't want to know why? It's supposed to be child-friendly. What's child-friendly about a Furby?
Thought you were scarred, you're just scarred at your cute.
Awesome.
What ages of children is it meant to be used for? Because I noticed it is like pretty formal language, and like answer response, like what age would you say it's for?
Most likely, I'd say around 7 to 13. Anything older than that is just way too emotionally attached, and anything younger than that, they probably not understand. Go ahead.
What metrics did you use to make it child-friendly?
I just put in a prompt just before every response. Yeah, I always have a prompt ready to go saying, hey, respond to this as a child, like as a child-friendly AI. So hopefully, ChatGPT will recognize that and just spit out a response. Sorry.
If you were to do this project again, how would you do it?
I definitely focus on the mechanical side first, get that out of the way, and just focus, the backup plan would be the ChatGPT, and then I train my own model continuously for like 300 to 400 hours here. Joe?
Do you plan on expanding this over the summer? Because this looks like it could be really useful as like a mini assistant within your own dorm, or to give as a gift to a child.
Honestly, I do want to expand it. I'm either going to make it just looking a little more friendly, or I'm going to give it arms and legs. I'm not too sure. But ideally, I do want to take this further. I want to take this into college and show my robotics professors, hopefully, that I can do this. You?
With your, so with the AI, how would you make it where all the conversations?
Okay.
Is that it? Any other questions?
He was thinking about his question.
Oh, you
I forgot
thinking?
what my question was, I have no idea what it is.
Okay. Well, ask it at the table then, and in that case, good job.
George has
Oh, George, go ahead.
Cost attached to every time you make a request.
Yes.
Is there an estimate for the amount of money you have to pay for, say, on the requests?
Right now, it's only about 1,000 tokens long, which is about 400 words, I believe, in ChatGPT terms. For 1 million tokens, I have to pay 4 cents. So I I can generate, so about for 100 responses, I think it's somewhere around like 10%, I'm not too sure. Ian?
So I have two questions. So one, if you're the zealous and natural product, would the API key be baked into the AI? Or would it go to a separate server from that?
No, my
to the API?
custom house.
Oh, yeah.
Ideally, I have my own my AI that doesn't use API key if I was making it professional.
And also, when you did train your AI, were you training on just your personal computer? Or are you having like set up hardware just for simulations?
I was training on my personal computer, so that's probably why it took 11 hours.
Okay. All right, good job.